Okay, this is the tutorial for Joe the cab driver. Of course, you know there's a setup to it, and I'll show you the setup and then we'll go through the steps of the trick. Main thing is remembering the storyline. Okay, you know that Joe is the cab driver, and then you have his friends and their old ladies. So you set them in the deck like that, and then you know that he goes to 34th Street. There's a $2 tip. Then it's the best band in town, the 4Js. There's 4 Jacks, 34th Street, $2 tip. Then it's the alcohol. 1 case, 2 case, 3 case, 4. And then it's 34th Street, $2 tip. Then it's change for a 50. 10, 20, 30, 40, 45, 50. Where'd you get that at? 34th Street? No. 89th Street. $2 tip. And then it's the story about his life. 57. Feel like I'm 67. Got 8 wives, 8 girlfriends, and 7 children. When I was in the Navy, I used to play cards and get a hand like this. Bet you want a lot of money. No, but the other guy would have a hand like this. Now notice, going through and setting up the cards, you never use 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of hearts, because that's your breaking point. Now that the cards are set up, you can cut them as many times as you want, because you're just going back to front, back to front. You're really not messing the deck up at all. So you can cut them, have the person you're doing the trick on cut them. Then you can start your story out. You go in there and find Joe and just set the cards right back up the way they were in the story. Now that you've got Joe at the top, you can have the person cut it. Now that's putting the 8 of hearts right on top of the 3 of clubs. Set the story right back up. Now, there's Joe. Now, you know that there's a straight flush at the bottom of the deck. Now, if you go through, have them cut it. You got Joe right underneath the 8 of hearts. Every 4, you're going to cut right in the middle of that straight flush. Now you can say blocks, streets, countries, whatever you want. But once you start seeing, like, there's the 9, that's the full house. There's the end of the full house. Now you know 4 cards, there's 1 block or 5 blocks, 1 house down, there's Joe. Then you take the rest of the deck that you just counted out and you put them right back underneath the deck, and you set the story right back up to where it needs to be. 34th Street, $2 tip. Now you take them cards, set them up, set them aside. You can keep them in order if you want. It's pretty easy. For the next trick, you can be already set up. Now, you put Joe back on top. You have the person cut. Continue on with the story. Now, once you get a little bit comfortable with it, you know about where that 8 of hearts is. So you can take a big chunk off, say 1 block, 2 blocks. Mess that up. Almost messed the story up. And here comes Joe. Set the story back up. But then it's the 4Js. Where'd you get them at? 34th Street. There's your $2 tip. Joe back on top. Now you have them cut it. Just make sure they cut it one time. And if they start acting like they're going to do it a couple times or cut it, you just force yourself in and continue the cut for them. 1 block, 2 blocks, 3 blocks, 4 blocks, 2 houses down, there's Joe. All right, now you got the 4 cases. 34th Street, $2 tip. Now you kind of, if you want to say it out before the cards are out so it looks like you're predicting them, you want to cut them? Now show them if you're trying to cut it again. You just step in there and just cut it for them. So force it out, you know what I mean? Then you go 1 block, 2 blocks, 3 blocks, 4 blocks, 1 house down, there's Joe. You kind of pull them cards up fast so they don't notice the 8 of hearts keep coming up. Okay, now you got change for a 50. 10, 20, 30, 40. Now take a little pause right there and before you say the 45 and 50 because they think you ran out of cards. But 45 and 50, and then you say, where'd you get them at? 34th Street? This is where it changes to 89th Street. There's a $2 tip. Okay, now on this one, you're getting ready to tell about his life. You want to keep Joe out there, there's no more cutting. Or you could cut it if you wanted, but in this trick, you were not. Okay, here's the rest of the story. I'm 57, feel like I'm 67, got 8 wives, 8 girlfriends, and 7 children. When I was in the Navy, I used to play cards and get a hand like this. Man, I bet you won a lot of money. No, the other guy would have a hand like this. Now, that's the story of Cab Driver Joe. I will be posting a few other tricks on here. I know quite a few. If you're interested or I get a few likes or hits, I'll add on more, add on shuffles. But let's see how this goes. Hope you all enjoyed it. I'm Eric the Red.